Welcome to the Vol Bros, presented by the Ooltewah Club. My name is Evan. This is my brother Rustin, and we are two Vol Bros who are actually bros in real life. And as always, we certainly do thank the Ooltewah Club. We're excited to get back out there near the end of this week when it's a little bit warmer outside. We're excited to be back on the course. It's been a rough couple weeks here with the cold weather. We can't be out there. So we're glad to have it on the horizon now. Huge weekend for Tennessee athletics. Back-to-back wins by the men's and women's team this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Rustin, let's start with the chronological order. The men played yesterday at Texas. Return for Rick Barnes to his prior coaching destination. Now, what's interesting is he coached there for, I think, 17 years. He's now coached at Tennessee for 10. He's almost been here as long as he was there. And it doesn't even feel like he's been here that long. So, what did you say? What did you think about the men's game yesterday?
I thought it was a good scrappy win. That's an excellent Texas team that gave Auburn all they wanted. They're in a tough environment. You know, they're dealing with all the weird travel stuff around all the snowstorms and everything. So, you know, there's already some weirdness there. It's always awkward when you're going back and playing your former school. It's not just awkward for the head coach, it's awkward for the players. You know, all they're asked about all week is about going back, and that's probably never going to stop because Rick Barnes is there for so long. I think the biggest thing that stood out to me was 17 minutes, 12.6 rebounds, Darlin Stone Dubar. Um, you know, he finally got a decent amount of minutes, and I feel like they're starting to really build trust with him. I love that he was looking for his shot, that he was looking to be a threat. If he can become a consistent threat, that just makes this team so much better. And
Absolutely.
you know, I felt like he was very, very aggressive with the ball, and we need that, especially while Meshack's playing injured. There's only so many things he can do right now without potentially re-injuring his hand, and so we need somebody who's willing to be a threat, who's willing to attack the basket. And I thought Dubar, I would honestly like to see him be even more aggressive. I would like to see him when he gets the ball in his hands, really looking to do something with it. I think probably the biggest thing that stood out to me was he was doing it outside the flow of the offense. He recognized the moments when they needed shots, and he was actively looking to get them, whether it was part of the offense or not. And they need somebody like that. They need somebody who's just going to go out there and go, "Yeah, I'm scoring right now."
That follow-up slam off the rebound was impressive.
Yeah.
The ferocity with which he threw that thing down was very nice.
And how high he was. I mean, I don't think people
Yeah.
realize what a freak athlete he is, and that's what I want to see more of. I want to see him, you know, attack the basket baseline and go up and look to posterize somebody. Like he's got that in him, and I want to see more of that.
So my favorite thing about that game, actually, it happened during the game. Yeah, Kevin said it was an emphatic dunk. Absolutely, absolutely. My favorite thing we didn't find out about until after the game, and that was what Rick Barnes said about the opening play coming out of halftime. That was so good for so many reasons. First of all, kudos to Rick Barnes for just throwing coach speak out the window. And, you know, he was asked if anybody didn't catch it, what happened. If you didn't see the game, when they came out of halftime, they ran a play to start the second half, and Chaz Lanier caught the ball on the wing, and then he tried to skip past it to the other side and threw it out of bounds. And Rick Barnes immediately took him out of the game. And people thought, well, he's just being punished for, you know, throwing the ball out of bounds to start the half. Well, I couldn't find out that is not why he got taken out of the game. Rick Barnes, after the game, said why he was taken out. He said, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you get taken out of the game. And he said, we drew up a play for him to get a shot to start the half. He was supposed to take that shot, and he didn't do what we asked him to do. So he came out of the game. He's like, if you're going to be paid, just shoot the ball and do what we tell you to do. If you don't do it, you're going to come sit over here. And I love that. The first of all, that he was like openly admitting that, you know, he's being paid, like Lanier is being paid to come shoot the ball. But even more than that, here's what I loved about it. First of all, I totally agree with you that it was fantastic to see Darlington Dubar have such a good game. They need his offensive scoring. They really do. And on nights like last night, when Lanier is not hitting shots, it is even more imperative that Darlington Dubar score. But the reason I love the fact that coming out of halftime, the first play they drew up was to get Chaz a shot, is because the only way a shooter is going to come out of a slump is if he sees the ball go through the nets. And that's not going to happen unless he shoots it. And so, first play out of halftime, Barnes knows he has a shooter. He knows he's got to get shots. He's got to shoot his way out of the slump. So, forget the fact that he hadn't made many all game at that point. He's like, no, you're taking the first shot coming out of halftime. I love that. Like that is such a good coaching job. And the fact that he pulled him out, like, I told you to shoot it and you didn't do it, so now you're gonna sit over here. I love that. Um, based on that they're just telling him keep shooting. Like that's what they're
Yeah.
and I love that. So that was my favorite play of the game, and we didn't even know about it until after the game. But that was my favorite play. Some of the comments coming through. Kevin said, "Big road wins this weekend." Absolutely. He said, "Thank you, Vol Bros and the Ooltewah Club." Thank you for that, Kevin. We certainly do appreciate the Ooltewah Club. And Kevin was great advice for all of us this evening. He said, "Hit the like button, subscribe, and share." I think that's fantastic. Text a buddy about the Vol Bros. Text a buddy. Mino Lackey is here. Welcome, Mino Lackey. Good to have you. Mississippi Vault, welcome, buddy. He said, "Good evening, bros and Big Orange Nation." I believe that qualifies as a blistering our ladies lay on Arkansas this afternoon. Absolutely. Also good to see our men bounce back. Absolutely. Jonathan, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, "Good evening, Vol Bros in chat." When I mentioned that we were going to the Ooltewah Club later this week, Kevin said we need more from the cart conversations. So I'm liking the cart cam as well. And Rustin's going to be on the cart cam this Friday. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go play, and I'll have the cart cam rocking and rolling that day. I'm excited to ask Russ. He didn't know what I'm going to ask him yet, but I'm going to ask him like some of his favorite memories about Tennessee stuff, and it'll be fun. It'll be
I'm
good.
just going to cuss a lot so you can't use any of it.
There you go. There you go. John, welcome, John. Good to have you. He said it was good to see the balance with the men's team. For sure. I mean, Zakai stepped up, hit some big shots. Dubar obviously stepped up, hit some big shots. Felix Akpar had a fantastic game. It was great. Cade Phillips continued to just be a menace, dude. Like he's so aggressive. I love it. Kevin said Dubar had a good game. Absolutely. Greg, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said men withstood the surge from Texas and shut them down at the end, and Ziegler's layup at the end was a dagger. Yep. Let's see. Kevin said the question is going to be is how Lanier responds to this, this shooting slump that he's having. And hopefully you keep shooting it because you can't shoot your way out of it unless you shoot it. So, Matt, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said Barnes is like a honey badger. Matt's another fellow Chattanoogan. Mississippi Vols said, glad to see Mr. Dubar spring to life as he did. He had some very quality minutes and made some very key shots for us. I totally agree. And one thing Rustin mentioned a second ago, Dubar actually confirmed in the post-game press conference when they were talking about that last three that he hit. He said when Zakai threw me the ball, I wasn't gonna not take the shot. He's like, I'm getting the lead right now. I love that. I mean, he's like, give it to me. I'm getting us the lead right now. Tony, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said Dubar still looks timid. Hope he continues to get better. We need him bad. He was definitely feeling it in the second half.
I still think there are moments where, Rick Barnes has very specific thoughts about the shots he wants, when he wants them, who he wants taking them, and he calls set plays to get certain looks. I still think some of them, Jordan Gainey included, are trying to figure out. Igor falls in this category. Dubar are trying to figure out how they fit into the equation when he calls a set look, and then it breaks down. Like if Chaz doesn't get that shot to start the second half, okay, what does Igor now do to go make sure they have a quality possession? I think they're all struggling to figure out how they fit into that system when things don't work. And some of it, like that Dubar three you just mentioned, that was just him going, I'm just shooting the ball now. Like I don't care what we're
Yep.
running, I'm taking this shot.
Yep.
So Igor needs to develop a little bit of that too. Like he needs to say, this dude guarding me can't possibly guard me, so I'm just gonna clear out, back him down, and go get an easy layup right now.
Yeah.
Um, we need a little more of that.
Jonathan said, I like that Barnes took Chaz out and made a statement like that. Absolutely. Kevin said, teaching Lanier may not work for Lanier, but it says so much about Coach Barnes. For sure. And I think Chaz will respond well too. Tony said Gainey doesn't look as good in conference play. What game was that Gainey essentially took over the game? Was that
Illinois,
before Illinois? That's what it was.
Illinois.
So that was out of conference. Tony, good point there. Dester said, great to be a Vols fan. Absolutely. Welcome, Dester. Good to have you, man. Mino, like he said. So this is a cart cam reference with the video of my daughter. She said the unicorn was everything. So throughout the whole video, I didn't even realize it till I was editing the video, and I was just laughing watching it because in between my daughter and I, her driver head cover is a pink rainbow unicorn. And it's like right here. And a lot of time it's looking at the camera during the video. It was pretty funny. Rhonda, welcome. She said, good evening, Vol Bros in chat. Love being a Tennessee Vol fan. Absolutely. Herb, hey, buddy, welcome. 33 days till baseball. That's exactly right. Absolutely. Mississippi Vol, excellent advice. He said, like and subscribe, folks. I mean, that is sage wisdom right there. And so I strongly encourage that as well. Mina Laggy said, just shared the link with my sister. We both grew up all Vol. Hey, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And Mina Laggy's sister, if you're watching, welcome. We're glad you're with us too. Let's see here. Eric, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, what's up, Vol Bros? Good win for our Vols and Lady Vols. Coach Barnes and the presser talking about sitting Chaz for not doing what he's paid for was hilarious. I agree. It was hilarious. It was really good.
National media has really taken that and run with it. I don't think Rick Barnes intended it to come across as much of a target of NIL as it has become. The national media has really run with that, and it's kind of bizarre, honestly. Like they're really latching onto it.
Monica, welcome. Good to have you. She said, are you taking song requests for the cart cam? I would love to. Unfortunately, we might get copyright claim on the video, so I can't. We have to just use either no music or royalty-free music. But I would love to do that if I could. Andrew, welcome, buddy. He said, we don't win that game without Dubar or Zakai. I 100% agree. Yes. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the Lady Vols. So the Lady Vols.
Well, hold on before you move on there. We had somebody yesterday or day before during the men's game send a message and tag us and say, what would you do with this? And so I had said that on here tonight I would talk through some things that I would like to see Rick do, or the Coach Barnes staff, somebody add into what they're doing to try to get some of these other guys more involved. The first thing I'd like to see is I'd like to see them run more motion early to try to create early balance. They are coming, like yesterday or whatever day it was. They came right out of the chute and started calling everything for Chaz. Every possession was a quick hitter for Chaz. And I don't personally care for that. I think it creates mindsets among your other players that, eventually I'll get involved in this, but right now is not my time. I would rather see them be heavy motion, lots of balance, get everybody involved early. The other thing I'd like to see, and this happened against Texas quite a bit, Igor had mismatches a lot. There were several times Felix Okpara had a mismatch on him. And I would like to see Coach Barnes go backwards a little bit to when he was at Texas and when he first got to Tennessee and run a little more 3 out, 2 in motion to pound the ball inside to Igor and or Felix when they get a mismatch. He did that a lot with Grant and Admiral. Anytime they had a mismatch, they'd go 3 out, 2 in, and they would get a quick post up and get an easy bucket. I think that's something Igor really brings to the table that we're underutilizing right now. And I think when we go into some of these difficult situations where guys aren't hitting as much as we'd like them to, we need to pound Igor inside and let him go dominate smaller guards who are trying to guard him. And then the last thing I'd like to see is a little more 1-4 high stuff. Coach Barnes is kind of the inventor of the horns set he created at Texas, where the 2 post players come out and set screens on either side, ball screens on either side for the point guard. We have a tendency to really struggle to attack the basket, and that's what Jemai Meshack brings to the table. That's what Jordan Gainey brings to the table. If you go 1-4 high and pull everybody up the court, it frees up the paint and it frees up the baseline. And I think we can hurt teams. There's a cut called an Iverson cut where a wing starts on one side and the 2 post players set double screens for him all the way across the floor. When that's happening, the opposite wing rotates under across the baseline typically. So defenses have to do one of 2 things. If they're going to overplay Chaz as he's making that Iverson cut, now Igor or Akpara can slip to the basket and get an easy dunk. If they overplay Chaz and kind of step behind the post players, well, now either Gainey or Meshack is going to be wide open on the opposite wing, and when they catch it, they've got a one-on-one opportunity with nobody in help side. So they can immediately go attack the basket and probably get an easy layup or at least a foul, gets them more engaged in the flow. And if they don't overplay it, if they play everybody straight up, then that means somebody's got to run off a screen from Igor and Felix, chase Chaz from the backside, and then try to defend him after he has the ball before they can get across the court. Pretty good odds we're going to have something positive happen there. So, those are the things I'd like to see. Run motion early to establish balance. Go back to some of your 3 out, 2 in motion stuff from Texas and pound the ball inside to Igor and Felix when they get mismatches, and Kate Phillips. And then run a lot more 1-4 high stuff with utilizing the Iverson cut to create some driving opportunities for everybody else.
Well, this is how we're going to find out if Rick Barnes and his staff watches the Vol Bros. If next game, if we see some of that, we'll know. And to your point, Igor is a walking mismatch. And so if he can become the threat on offense that we need him to be, that is going to be ginormous for this team. Some of the comments that just came through, Eric said it was down home Rick Barnes when he said he didn't care when it's a teaching moment. For sure, man. Absolutely. Tony said Meshack must have listened Thursday night because Tony told him stop shooting threes, and he did. He took him to the rim like he should be doing. Kevin said sometimes basketball seems like a flow, but this shows how much Coach Barnes is playing, what he teaches, and how the players respond to that. No doubt Zakai is the spark plug and Jemai is the base. Absolutely. 100%. James said, love Kim Caldwell's post-game speech after the LSU game. She has the right mindset. It doesn't matter if you recruit them or not. It's still your team. Every coach should think that's way. 100% agree. Absolutely. Yep. James, we're glad you're here, buddy. Thanks for joining us. Tony said, Coach Kim Caldwell is all business, and I love it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Keg, welcome, buddy. Good to have you. He said, what's up, bros? Go Big Orange. Absolutely. Sanders, welcome. Good to have you as well. She said, I love Kim Caldwell. She loves her players. Yes, she does. And I think that they understand that, which is why they play so hard for her. For sure. Well, speaking of the women's team, fantastic win, conference win today at Arkansas on the road in the SEC. And, man, they put it on them. What do you think about the Lady Vols today, Rustin?
They did about everything well. They did a fantastic job crashing the boards, getting offensive rebounds. Um, I was going to look it up. Yeah, they had 21 offensive rebounds, which is just crazy. Um, they were flying around. You know, you can't ever question their balance. They're going to get everybody involved. They're going to find ways to get more and more girls involved every night. It was good to see Tess Darby back healthy. Clearly, that ankle wasn't as bad as they thought it was. She was running around and looked totally fine. Would like to see more Avery Strickland and Favor Ajadele. I think both of them play really hard and bring some unique skill sets. And next year, they're both going to have to be major factors in this system. So I'd like to see both of them a little more. Um, but Jillian Hollingshed is really starting to figure out how she fits in. Z Spearman was fantastic today. I don't know how you guard Ruby Whitehorn off the bounce. She just has an unbelievable knack of getting 2 feet in the paint and being able to score. And when Sarah Puckett's scoring double digits, they're pretty much unstoppable. I mean, they've got so many weapons, and when you leave Sarah Puckett open and she's knocking down shots, it's it's amazing to watch.
And Spearman was what, 3 for 3 from behind the arc today, something like that.
Yep. Yep.
When she's hitting the shots like that, good luck. I mean, like that, they had it clicking on all cylinders. You got the box score in front of you there.
Yeah.
How many steals did the Lady Vols have?
15.
15 steals.
And two more 10-second violations, which is just ridiculous. I think that gives them 19 for the season now. They threw that stat up during the last game that in the previous 5 years, the Lady Vols had forced 5 10-second calls, and they've now had 19 this season. It's just unbelievable. And honestly, I thought there was another one they should have called, and they gave the offensive player the benefit of the doubt. But when you watch it on the clock, I think they just didn't see the clock quick enough. That they actually probably should have had 3 instead of 2.
I mean, here's what's impressive about what we saw today. Arkansas is an SEC team, but we made them look like we were playing a, Division I AA team, that kind of thing. Like we made it look like we were playing a group of 6 conference type team. That was a very impressive win. Their defense made it to where Arkansas did not want to be on the court. They were uncomfortable being on the court, trying to pass to each other and bring the ball across half court. If you do that, you won the game. Like that, if you can make a Division I SEC team uncomfortable in their home gym, trying to advance the ball across half court, that is a heck of a job. And so their defense certainly is what led to offense today. And when they're knocking down shots the way they were, they are tough to beat. And they just phenomenal win. 30-point win on the road in the SEC today. Just incredible. Fantastic game. Greg said Candace Parker's comment was huge, and if people didn't see what Candace said, she on Instagram, I think it was, she made a comment saying that she would love to play for Coach Caldwell. Sanders said, I think if we play our game, we can beat Texas. Now, Sanders was referring to the Lady Vols play Texas January 23rd. It is at Texas. Texas is currently ranked in the top 10. And based on the fact that the Lady Vols have lost by 1 point and 2 points to both top 10 teams that they've played, you have to agree with Sanders. Sanders said, if we play our game, which is what we saw in the fourth quarter against LSU, and especially, well, not LSU, I'm thinking of Oklahoma. What we saw in the fourth quarter against Oklahoma, and really what we saw the majority of the game against LSU. If Tennessee plays their game, they can beat top 10 teams 100% because they've only lost by a total of 3 points to 2 of them. So you got to agree with Sanders and her take here, and she's exactly right. Rebecca, welcome, Rebecca. Good to have you. She said, just saw today, Kim's due date is January 20th. So that is just around the corner.
And people, somebody further down the comments asked the question, how do we think they'll do without her? I think this coaching staff is very good. I think Jenna Burdett will probably be the head coach while she's gone, but you'll see Gabe Laszlo and Roman Tubner get very involved. I think this staff is more than capable of handling it. What's going to be interesting is how they respond. I'm assuming Jenna Burdett's going to be the vocal one. It'll be interesting to see how they respond to her instead of Kim. But one thing people can't freak out about, I mean, listen to this. The first 2 weeks she's on maternity leave at Texas, South Carolina at home, at Missouri, Connecticut, at LSU. That is a brutal stretch. They're playing basically 4 top 10 teams in 2 weeks. And at Como is never easy. That's just a weird place to go. People struggle in that gym. It's that's a brutal stretch, and so people don't need to freak out if they go 2-3, 1-4 in that stretch. It's not because Kim's gone; it's because that's just a really brutal stretch of games, and
100%.
it's going to be hard even with her for them to honestly to have a winning record in those 5 games.
Absolutely. Sanders said we need Spearman and Jillian to play like they did today against top 10 teams 100%. It was great to see Jillian get a 3 today. I mean, you can tell she's got the stroke. Like, she can shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
Great form. It was great to see her get that shot today. Rhonda said, how long will Coach Caldwell be out? I think she goes on leave in a few days. I mean, there's no way for us to know for sure,
It's
but
up to her.
I would venture to guess, if it were me, I would venture to guess that when Connecticut is coming to Thompson Bowling Arena on ESPN on February 6th, that is depending on when she has the baby. If that's 2 weeks after, I would not be shocked if she's sitting on that sideline for that game, because that is a huge game. But traveling on the road, like the next game is at LSU, I don't think she'll. I would venture to guess by February 13th is another home game against Auburn, and then that Sunday, February 16th, is another home game against Ole Miss. She would probably be back by those, I'm sure. But she's competitive, and so she's got fire in her to compete as well. And it wouldn't shock me if she's back before that, but I think that definitely by the February 16th game against Ole Miss, I would venture to guess she would be back on the sidelines by that game. But totally up to her. It wouldn't shock me as how competitive she is. It wouldn't shock me if she's back before February 16th. But that would be my guess if I had to guess. But I'm definitely not her. So my opinion means literally nothing. Eric said, yeah, Evan, Tennessee ladies did Arkansas that way today, and they are close to doing all teams that way. Lost by a total of 3 points to 2 top 10 teams, Oklahoma and LSU. It's exactly right. Kevin said the line changes will be interesting to see who comes out, who goes in, especially if someone is struggling for the Lady Vols down the stretch here. Sanders said, I really think we can beat anybody in the country. I agree, totally.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to play smart and play as a team. And we got to hit shots. Like, that's the bottom line. You know, in order to beat the South Carolinas of the world, you got to make shots. Yes, you're shooting a very high volume of shots, but you got to make some of them. I mean, that's the thing. In order to beat the South Carolinas, because the South Carolinas are going to get their points. So in order to beat them, you got to get yours too. So all those shots that you're taking, you got to bury some of them. Yes, take a huge volume of shots so that percentage wise you make um, you make up for it in volume, but you still got to see the ball go through the nets for sure. Eric said, "I would guarantee she'll be on the bench against Gino Auriemma and UConn as fiery as she is." Yeah, I mean it's hard to imagine her not being there if she's physically able to. If she does, I mean we all know due dates are fickle things. That how rare is it that the baby actually comes on the due date? But um, glad that Kim Mulkey didn't have to assist her giving birth like Kim wanted to, but Kim Mulkey, that is. That was still just a bizarre comment. Like, I can't believe she said it. But, if she gives birth on the 20th, that would be February 6th, would be almost 2 weeks exactly.
Yeah,
That's,
it's 17 days.
Yeah, that's pretty quick. I mean, that's a quick turnaround. But I wouldn't put it past her. I mean, she's going to want to be out there. Kevin said Lady Vols have more than a puncher's chance. They have several shooters, absolutely, and they showed that today for sure, for sure. Papa J, welcome, buddy. He said Lady Vols are exciting now, but can't wait until the tournament time. Absolutely. I would love. That's a great point. We got a glimpse into what this team can be in the fourth quarter against Oklahoma. I think the team themselves got a glimpse into what this team can be playing in that fourth quarter against Oklahoma. They absolutely dominated that fourth quarter. And then they did more of that today at Arkansas. And the reason that we saw them just transform into what really Kim Caldwell wants them to be all the time, and that's not me saying, that's her saying. She said that in her post-game presser that game, is desperation. They were down by a lot. They knew they had to come back, and they got desperate and started playing defense desperate. And it was awesome. It was so much fun to watch. And when you have the pressure of tournament time, knowing that if I lose, we're done, permanent for the season, I would imagine that desperation that we saw in the fourth quarter would be happening all game long in those. I would hope so, at least in those situations, because they're going to feel the sense of urgency in that moment. So Papa J's right. Like, it's going to be a blast watching this team play in the tournament. Sanders said, I agree, Evan. We also have to hit those putbacks and free throws for sure. For sure. Absolutely. Greg said, first babies run late. Yep, they typically do. That's a good point. John said, I know we're talking about basketball, but I saw the other day James Pierce hasn't declared for the draft. Do y'all think he's coming back? I don't think he's coming back. He's currently projected in the last 4 to 5 picks of the first round. If you're getting first round money, you're not coming back.
Yeah.
So I will be shocked if he does come back. Eric said, that's how Kim Mulkey is. She says what she wants. She don't care. She's a Pat Summitt disciple. I agree. It's fun listen to her talk basketball. It was kind of weird hearing her say that she wanted to help give birth to Kim Caldwell's baby on the court. That's just kind of an odd statement. Tony said Kim Mulkey said they could shoot layups all day in her press conference. That concerns me. If the other team beats our press, easy buckets against us. I mean, that's what we've seen all year, right? Like that's what we've seen. And we have to combat that with high volume on the other end too, and getting back in transition defense. But that's the Achilles heel of this system, and that's what we've seen happen all year so far. When teams do get points, it's because they've broken the press and they get layups. It's a high risk, high reward situation. That's the way it is with everybody, every press. Mina Lackey may have just said the funniest comment we've ever had on this show. Mid-court midwife for Kim Mulkey. That's a good one. I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one. Kevin said,
I would ask Kim Mulkey also, since she wants to talk about stats. If they could shoot layups all day, why'd they only win by 2?
Yeah, good question. Kevin
Kim
said,
likes to run that mouth, but it's not always based in facts.
yep. Kevin said, second chance shots make such a difference. Florida proved that to the men last week. Absolutely. And the Lady Vols proved it today. You're exactly right. There was one rebound. I think it was in the second half. Yeah. It was in the second half. Uh, who was it? Seahorn, I think. I don't know. She got a rebound in the middle of 3 Arkansas. It was her own shot. She got her own rebound in the middle of 3 Arkansas um, defenders and put it back up, laid it in. It was impressive. It was impressive.
Who?
Uh,
You mean Ruby Whitehorn?
Whitehorn. What'd I say?
I don't know. It wasn't that.
I said Seahorn. I guess I combined like spear and horn and just I don't know. Seahorn is what I said. Whitehorn, Ruby Whitehorn. There it is. Second half, she had a shot in the middle of the lane, followed her own shot, got the rebound, out rebound. There were 3 Arkansas girls going up for the same shot. She jumped and got it. Like she out rebounded 3 players. That's just determination at that point. That's all rebounding is just I want it more, and very impressive, very impressive. Even the commentators were like, "Man, that was impressive," because it was a solid play. Sanders said, "Our half court defense has gotten so much better. We still have things to clean up, but I see a huge difference since the beginning of the season."
Yeah.
Oh, Austin, because I said Seahorn. Austin says Jason's daughter, Jason Seahorn. Yeah. Whitehorn. There we go. Josh, welcome, buddy. He said, good bounce back win against Texas for sure. Listen, you go out and lay an egg like they did against Florida and Gainesville. If you win the next game, that's a good win, no matter what happens, because they literally had the worst shooting performance this millennium by any Division I basketball team against Florida. So I'm not exaggerating. Like statistically, it was the worst shooting performance. So it's good to see him get a win. Eric said, "Yeah, Russ and I remember Kim Mulkey saying that, and you're right. If they could have shoot layups all day, why they only win by 2, and Tennessee had a chance to beat them." Yep, for sure. Oh, Greg asked a great question. I'm curious to hear your prediction here. Where will the men be ranked this or tomorrow? Because the poll's going to come out tomorrow. What do you think?
I would guess 5 or 6, somewhere in there.
I was going to guess 4 or 5. So no, we'll shoot the middle and say 5. We'll be ranked number 5. Let's see. Will, welcome, buddy. Congrats to your Buckeyes. He said, "Hey, everyone, just wanted to check in, hit the like button, and say hi. Not much of a basketball fan after MJ retired, but my question to you is Cooper Flagg going to be the new LeBron in the NBA?" I don't think he's as good as LeBron, but he is certainly going to have all the hype. He's going to be the number 1 pick coming out of the draft this year. He will have all the hype that as much as he can get for sure. He had 42 points yesterday. Set a new freshman record against ACC point totals for Duke. That's saying a lot when you think about it. You think about all the great players that have come through that program, and he broke the record for most points in a game in an ACC game as a freshman. It's impressive.
I think the thing about him that stood out to me was this summer when they were preparing for the Summer Olympics, he was on the scout team. And they talked about how there were days playing against Team USA that he was the best player in the gym. When you think about who is on that roster, Kevin Durant, LeBron, all the guys at Steph, all the guys that were on that roster, and there were days Cooper Flagg was the best player in the gym. It's going to be interesting to see how he does next year, but he's going to have a big future.
For sure. Will said, "I don't know much about the young man, but I'm hearing that he's the next great one coming in the NBA." Like I said, he'll definitely be the top draft pick this year for sure.
Yeah.
Austin says he predicts that the men's team will be ranked 6th tomorrow. Kevin said he predicts they'll be ranked 5th. I think we could probably all agree Auburn will be the number one team in the country tomorrow, even though they just barely snuck by a couple teams this week, Texas being one of them.
Yeah.
But
South Carolina should have beaten them. They just totally blew that one.
Let's see. Sanders said the men's offensive game has to get better. Rick Barnes has to come up with some offensive sets to run. So I'm excited to see if they do what Rustin just said, because if they do, then we know that they're watching. So, Rick, if you're watching, we appreciate you. You're a great coach. We're happy to have you at the University of Tennessee. Let's see. Will said Jack Sawyer had a legend making play that is accurate. If you're not sure which play Will's talking about, that was the forced fumble scoop and score all by the same person that he returned 82 yards.
It was
I think it
83
was.
yards, yeah.
Yep. For a touchdown. I mean, that sealed the game, that one play. So congrats to Will. Congrats to his Buckeyes. They are going to be hard to stop right now. Greg said in the Lady Vols ranking, still top 25. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah,
I think they'll actually move up to 15.
They very well might. Yeah. They very well might. Because, I mean, like I said, they lose to LSU by a left-handed scoop prayer that I'm not even sure she was actually even looking at the basket when she shot it. And they lose to Oklahoma
and still had a shot to tie. I mean, could have put it into overtime.
Absolutely. And then you got Oklahoma game, you lose by 1 point. So they definitely will still be in the top 25. Like Rustin said, they might even move up because they lose those two games, the top 10, and then they annihilate Arkansas today. And all the AP, I mean, recency bias, same as in basketball as it is in football. They're all looking at that win. They're all submitting their top 25 tonight, and they watched that game early this afternoon. They're like, dang, they're good. And so, I mean, recency bias is going to impact that too. So I don't expect them to drop. I mean, they might stay the same. They might move up one, but I don't think they'll drop any. Maybe, surely not after how they played, but who knows? But certainly they'll still be in the top 25. Kevin said the Ohio State-Texas game, that was an epic end of that playoff game. It sure was. Tony said Broom for Auburn is out with an ankle, maybe out a few weeks at least. That is accurate. It'll be interesting to see how long he is out. But he did injure his ankle.
Yeah, I would say at least 3. They announced tonight that they decided against surgery. That means it's probably some kind of a severe high ankle sprain. And if they were talking surgery, you're looking at minimum 3 weeks of rehab. So I would not expect him back. Probably not till early to mid February.
Will said the second down play that Texas ran when they ran the toss to the left was a crucial play that forced Texas to pass. That's exactly right. And they lost 7 yards on that one play. Sanders said, do y'all think Chaz's struggling because he's tired? I think he's just in a slump. All shooters go through slumps. But the good news is shooters shoot out of them. And so Chaz will do the same thing. Once he starts seeing the ball go through the nets, it's going to be fun watching him see it go through the nets even more after that.
That's the other reason why I'd like to see more 1-4 high with that Iverson cut. If he does end up with the ball after coming off that double staggered screen, he's got the entire baseline and the paint open to attack the basket. And sometimes the absolute best thing you can do as a shooter is just get to the free throw line. Attack the basket, get fouled, get to the free throw line, and watch some easy shots fall.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Rustin, you got anything else for this evening?
Nope. It's going to be a big week. I think we're going to say that every week. The SEC is no rest for the weary. Tennessee has a really good Georgia team. The Lady Vols have a really good Mississippi State team. They're both going to have a test this week, so it's going to be interesting to see how they respond.
The men get to host Georgia on Wednesday night, and then the Lady Vols host Mississippi State the very next night. So 2 busy nights in Thompson Bowling Arena. We will the women play at 7:00 Thursday night, so we will be going live right as that game is ending, probably. So that'll be fresh. Everybody can talk about that because it'll be fresh. Let's see. Tony said, saw some photos of Lindsey Nelson Stadium. It looks rough. Do y'all know when we play at home?
Opening weekend is a 3-game series, Valentine's weekend against Hofstra. So February 14, 15, and 16.
I think it will definitely still be under construction at that point, and it'll be kind of a pardon our progress situation.
They'll have to have some ground rules, like what do you do if it hits the crane? Just normal stuff. Vanderbilt deals with this all the time. We're used to it.
That's what I was about to say. Vanderbilt's been playing football in that situation for 2 seasons now, so they'll come up with something. Will said, have a great night, everyone. Appreciate it, Will. You too, man. Like he said, Rustin needs a whiteboard to draw up these plays. That's a great idea. We need to do that. Next show, bring one. Let's see. Andrew said, hard to believe Ohio State lost any games this season. Yeah, man, of the way they're playing right now, for sure. That's a great point. Absolutely. Kevin said, Mina has a great idea. I wish you guys had a way to draw some of the stuff you're talking about. I think it's a great idea. Absolutely. For sure. He said, explaining that Iverson cut would be easier to follow, I think.
The Iverson cut is really simple. Imagine you've got Chaz Lanier on the left wing and Jemai Mashak's on the right wing, and Felix and Igor are both in the high post. Zakai is going to start dribbling toward the wing that's not Chaz, which causes Jemai to go back door. So if he gets a backdoor layup, they can throw it to him. While that's happening, Igor and Felix Akpara are setting double screens for Chaz coming all the way across the floor. So imagine he started on one wing and ran all the way across the floor to the other wing. So now Jemai has exited that space. He took his defender away with him. Zakai, out of his peripheral vision, is watching Igor and Felix, and if either of their defenders try to cheat over to help on Chaz, they just immediately slide to the basket and he throws the lob for a dunk. If they don't, then Chaz gets all the way across the floor after 2 screens and a defender that's now behind him, and he has an entire side of the floor wide open to operate with no help.
A lot of space between the free throw line extended and the baseline there. Absolutely.
15 feet of real estate.
Austin said Dalton had a few weeks about this time of the year. This is a great point. Last year where he scored single digits in 4 or 5 games. Then he went off. Let's hope the same thing is going on for Lanier. So Dalton's exactly right. I remember that. It was the first week of January. It was right after Christmas. Everybody's like, what's going on with Dalton? Did Christmas break mess with him or something? And it was the first week of January. And so hopefully Austin just hit the nail on the head. Hopefully the same exact thing's about to happen for Chaz. Eric said, have a good night and week, Vol Bros. Go Big Orange. Absolutely. Kevin said, I do actually remember a few of those double screens, and it makes sense how it would force multiple options on the defenders.
Yeah, the problem is right now they're setting all the double screens on the baseline. So all the defenders are camped out in the lane. If you move everybody up to the free throw line across, now there's nobody in the paint, and they've got tons of free room to operate.
Yep. Like you said, thanks, Rustin. I need these plays explained to me like I'm a Boston Terrier. Eric said, that's a good play. Rustin, Coach Barnes needs that Iverson play. Absolutely. Rhonda said, hope everyone has a wonderful start to the week. Look forward to Thursday. Good show, guys. Hey, we appreciate that very much. We hope everybody stayed safe through the snowstorm. We hope everybody has a great week ahead. We do hope you circle Thursday night at 9 o'clock on your calendar. We will be live again Thursday night. Very, very fresh episode off that women's game Thursday night. Well, when we go live, they might be finishing up the game. So, that'll be happening Thursday night at 9. And then obviously the men play Wednesday night. So we'll be talking about that game as well. Like you said, great show. Appreciate that very much. Sandra said, I agree, Rustin, because everybody knows our plays. We need new stuff. That's
the thing I like. The thing I like about the 1-4 high is it still allows freedom. Like they have complete freedom to take what they're given. It really kind of fits the rest of what they do. It's not that different than what they do right now. It's just further up the floor, and I think it's yeah. And so Will just brought up the next step, the UCLA cut. So the beauty of the Iverson cut also is once Chaz makes that Iverson cut across, every once in a while they can set a back screen for Zakai to go to the basket. The lane's wide open, and if you're a point guard and all of a sudden you get screened in the back by Igor or Felix, you're probably not fighting through that one. So you get what's called a UCLA cut, where the point guard just cuts directly to the basket from the top. And, if Chaz sees Zakai immediately open in the lane, as soon as he catches it, he can just hit him right off the catch for an easy layup. There's so many things you can do out of the 1-4 high, and I think it just would really help this personnel especially.
Well, they're already running high ball screens, pick and rolls to the basket with Felix throwing hoops to him. That would be another wrinkle that they could still do that.
Well, and against Texas, there was actually a play where Felix caught the ball in the high post. Zakai made the UCLA cut. Felix saw it and threw a bounce pass to him for a layup, which was a really nice pass. And for a guy his size, it was impressive. It was a good read. It was a good pass, wide open layup. So clearly it's something he can do, which makes it even more reason to run some more 1-4 high stuff.
Yep. Eric said, let's go Vols and Lady Vols basketball. Absolutely. Bobby, welcome, buddy. We're glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. He said, appreciate you all. Go Big Orange. Mr. Osborne, glad you're here, buddy. He said, great show, Vol Bros. Go Vols and go Lady Vols. Absolutely. Go Big Orange. Kevin said, by the way, Felix looked more complete to me at Texas. Very happy for him. Absolutely. That was his best game of the season for sure. Mina he likes it because, she said we need some more wrinkles on offense, and that'd be a good way to add it. Absolutely. Will said, facts. He said, Coach used to remind me we had lots of other plays we could call out of that set. Yep.
When you're the point guard, you love two things out of the 1-4 high. You want to call that UCLA cut because you know you're going to get a layup, or you want to call a flare screen where you pass it to one post player. The other one sets a back pick on your guy so you can flare behind him and get a wide open three. Point guards love the 1-4 high. It makes them superstars.
Greg said it was nice to see Puckett getting some rebounds today. Matt said lots of good Tennessee basketball ahead. I agree totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sanders said Dubar looked great at Texas as well. Absolutely. He sure did. Absolutely. Coming out game for him. He played really, really well. Dubar in both big road wins at Illinois and at Texas. He was huge in both of them. Well, I hope everybody has a great evening. I hope we get to see you Thursday night at 9. We will be live again on YouTube, X, and Facebook Thursday night. Like you said, I love this show. We love you too. So we're glad you're joining us. Thank you so much. We had 324 people across all three platforms right now. To all of you, we appreciate you. We hope you join us again Thursday night, 9 o'clock. We'll be here, Lord willing. And we hope all of you have a great week ahead of you. Go Vols, and we will see you very, very soon. I guess I should have had my hand on the button to do the thing, but I forgot. Now I'm looking for it. All right, I got it. We had a couple other comments come through. Rhonda says she'll be here. I appreciate that. Like you said, thanks, bros. Sanders said, good night, guys. See you Thursday. Absolutely. All right, so this time I'm going to actually click the outro. Have a great evening, everybody.